This guy, I have been thinking about what book to review for you guys, and I think I want to go back to where it all began. And there's a cool story behind this book and how it came into my life. Basically, my dad had it since I was probably 12 years old, so it's been in front of me for quite a while. And when I was little, probably 14, 15, I grabbed it. It was in Spanish, and I tried to read it, and it was just confusing, just plain confusing. I couldn't go past a few pages, so I had to put it down. But I was very curious about it. And then after being in Australia for about 2 years, there was a time in my life where I couldn't fall asleep as easily, like I was staying up and so on. And this book came to my mind every single night that I couldn't fall asleep easily. This book, the name and the cover would be in my mind, like I couldn't stop. Until one day I had to literally just get off the bed, grab the iPad, downloaded the sample, started reading, and that was basically what I would call the start of my journey in spirituality as it is right now. Before then, it was all meditation and little bits and pieces, but this book has changed my life in ways I can't even describe. The best part is, I haven't even finished reading it. There is so much in this single book. I can't even say how much work it would take to go through the book. But what I absolutely love about this book is the way it's written. He is so, like, the amount of compassion he has comes across in the book. It's an easy read. He doesn't talk in in technical terms. He breaks it down to a point that almost a 5-year-old could understand it if if that person was into spirituality. So if you want to start a journey of self-discovery, this is the book to start. And it goes through the process of how to be alive and how to go through the experience of death, not for yourself, but also for other people. How do you help people? And it covers all the basic principles of spirituality. So he talks about compassion, he talks about meditation, he talks about letting go. I think 90% of the book would be about letting go, but I'll let you decide that. And like I said, it is basically broken into halves. So I think it starts not too far off. Well, about half the book, it's about dying, and there we go. So it's about that half and half. So all this is about living and all about dying. Highly, highly, highly recommend you start with this one. It starts with a very interesting story, and it's all about him experiencing death for the first time. Not as in dying, but he experiences the death of someone very close to him, and he branches out from there and it starts explaining all the concepts from a Tibetan point of view on how to live and die. It is based on Buddhism and the Tibet and all that sort of thing, but I never found it pushy. It never made me feel like they were trying to make you go into Buddhism. It is a very open book, and I can't recommend it more to anyone, even to the point where if you have problems with healing your body, he talks about the process of healing from a Tibetan perspective and how they actually submerge themselves into compassion. And that compassion goes into, I'm going to give all of my love away for people that are sick, even though I'm sick, and they end up healing themselves. They talk about how a proper process of dying should be lived life, and what happens to the body, and all these beautiful things that we actually don't even know anything about. We basically think that death is dead and it's just another step, and these guys just basically break it down into an amazing, beautiful practice. So it's not an expensive book. I think you can get it from under $20 online, or maybe $20 if so. And it is a read that will take you probably a couple of months at least. If you read it quicker than that, I bet you there's so many lessons you skipped. You should reread it. Like I said, I've been reading it for years, and the book calls me. This is the one book that when I feel something's not right, the book calls me and basically says, look into compassion. So there was a time in my life where I was struggling a lot with compassion. And at the back of the book, you can actually look by terms. You can look for compassion and dying and atmosphere and body, for example, Buddha, and read about it. And bet you it will change your life just reading whatever bits you find. So this was the beginning of my journey, and I highly recommend it. Yeah, so happy reading. Take care, guys.